The following video will go over the general overview and maintenance of the Comitrol processor model 3600F. Please note the following video pertains to the use of pinch points, electrical components, and sharp knives. Failure to comply with the safety standards of these equipment pieces can result in possible injury or death. Wear protective hand and eye gear whenever possible. For further instructions or information, please refer to the instruction manual or your station's health supervisor. General overview. The Comitrol 3600F, unlike the standard 3600 model, is defined by the large vertical feed chute that's installed above the feed screw. It is designed to handle large capacity reduction of products. To operate the Comitrol 3600F, start at the control panel. The green on buttons are for the impeller on the top and the feed screw on the bottom. Immediately to the right are the respective stop buttons. The reset button, located next to the feed screw button, resets the machine if the feeder or impeller overloads and is to be pressed if the emergency stop was engaged. To turn the machine itself on, locate the disconnect switch above the stop buttons. Unlock and disconnect the lock from the switch and turn it clockwise to the on position. When turned on and plugged in, this screen should illuminate. Opening the inside of the control panel, you can see all the lights and screens that are lit up when the machine is powered on. To properly start the machine for use, follow these steps. Unlock and disconnect the lock on the disconnect switch handle. Rotate it to the on position. Then press the impeller on button, first allowing it to run for a few seconds before pressing the feed screw on button. Allow the feed screw to run for 10 seconds before feeding your product. This dial left of the impeller on button adjusts the speed of the feed screw. Turning it to the right increases the speed, and the left reduces the speed. To turn the machine off, start by pressing the feed screw off button, followed by the impeller off button. Then turning the disconnect switch counterclockwise to turn off the machine's power. Secure the safety lock through the switch and lock it to complete the lockout-tagout procedure. Safety features. Below the feed screw off button is the emergency off button, which powers off the whole machine. There are a series of 4 sensors and actuators on the machine that must be connected for the machine to properly start, which are located here, 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 and here. Cutting assembly. Before disassembling the cutting parts, ensure the proper lockout-tagout procedure has been completed. To access the inner cutting assembly, start by removing the 4 hand knobs that secure the feeder to the cutting enclosure. Next, disengage the 2 feeder latches. Once completed, slide the feeder back and tip it toward you in the maintenance position. To secure the feeder, place the 2 locking pins in the holes as demonstrated. With the enclosure exposed, the next step is to install the impeller. Slide the impeller into position as demonstrated. Then secure it with the included washer and screw nut. Tighten the nut with the appropriately sized socket and wrench. An L handle wrench is being used here. For the cutting head, slide it over the impeller and align the 4 flanges on the side with the 4 screw holes located on the sides, top, and bottom. Bring out your appropriately sized socket and wrench again to secure the cutting head. At the back of the machine is the motor brake, and you will notice a switch. Flip this switch to the right-hand side. Now, with your L-handle wrench, place it in the impeller and begin to turn the impeller counterclockwise. If the impeller can turn freely without bumping into the cutting head, then this means it is assembled correctly. Rotate the feeder back upright and dislocate the 2 locking pins. Bring the feeder forward and ensure the actuators are connected. Lock the 2 feeder latches. And finally, screw back on the hand knobs. Cutting disassembly. To remove the cutting head, use your same size socket and wrench and unscrew the 4 screws on the 4 sides of the cutting head. For the impeller, unscrew the single nut from the impeller, then slide off the washer. This will allow the impeller to be removed. Reinstall the single nut back onto the assembly for storage once the impeller and cutting head are removed. Feed screw disassembly. To remove the feed screw, start by unscrewing the 4 screws that secure the belt cover using an appropriately sized wrench or socket. Once unscrewed, secure it with both hands and remove from the machine. You will notice a screw secured by 1 lock nut. Use an appropriately sized wrench to remove the nuts from the screw. This is what keeps the feed screw secured. Tipping the feeder into the maintenance position once more, simply grab the feed screw and slide it up out of the chute, securing it with both hands. Feed screw assembly. Start by sliding the feed screw down into the chute as demonstrated. Then tip the feeder up. Before placing the screw, first align the hole on the feed screw shaft with the hole on the outer feed screw support. Once aligned, place the screw through the hole and then tighten down the lock nut. Place the belt cover back on, making sure its sensor is aligned properly. Then secure it back into position with the 4 screws. Part inspection. When inspecting the parts shown here, you are visually inspecting for surface layer damage. The part should not have any major chips or breakage and can still be operated with minor surface level imperfections. However, if the damage on any of these parts are significant, do not attempt to repair them. Return the parts to Urschel for repairs or to be replaced. This concludes this maintenance video for the Comitrol processor model 3600F. For further details and support, refer to your included manual or contact your station's supervisor or Urschel directly.